All right, looks good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Mental Health Monday here on Even Tacos Fall Apart. Let me get this question queue open so that you guys can ask questions tonight. Feel free to engage with our topic. We are going to be talking about traumatic brain injuries, gamification, and rebuilding. I'm really excited to have a wonderful guest tonight, Dan MacQueen. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about a few things here. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask while we are live, feel free to pop those into the chat and we'll get them addressed. You can use exclamation point Q and follow that with your question, and that will get it entered into the question queue. If you are on YouTube, just pop it straight into the chat and we'll make sure to get it addressed while we're live as well. But either way, you've got the opportunity to engage here tonight. And if we get a little bit off topic, that's okay, but we do generally try to stay on the topic, and I think we'll be doing all right here. So as I said, today's guest is Dan MacQueen. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about Dan, and then we're going to get going. So in 2014, at just 28 years old, Dan went to the optometrist for persistent headaches. He walked out with a sealed envelope and instructions to go straight to the hospital. Hours later, he was in emergency brain surgery for a devastating hemorrhage. Dan survived 2 emergency brain surgeries, weeks in a coma, and months in rehab, had to relearn everything, how to walk, how to talk, even how to smile. But instead of being defeated, Dan used that experience to completely refocus his life and turned his recovery into a framework that anyone can use to overcome challenges, which is a big part of what we're going to talk about tonight. So today, Dan shares his tools and strategies that helped him rebuild his life with audiences just like this around the world. We're going to be talking about, as I mentioned, traumatic brain injuries, how he gamified his recovery, and what it really takes to be better than yesterday. And again, Dan, just welcome to the show. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. I am going to post a couple of ways that you can connect with Dan. In the chat right now are the website, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can find him on any of those. Feel free to go through and connect. And you guys know, as I always say, engagement is key. So make sure you go in and you're liking a post, you're sharing a post, you're commenting on a post. All of that is what really helps folks connect and get to know each other. So Dan, what inspired you to start sharing your story of what you went through your content you're speaking?
So I'll go back and tell you a bit of a story about my why. It might help you understand where I'm coming from with this. So I did these brain scans a couple years ago. This clinic called Health Tech Connect in Surrey, BC, Canada. Put this gel cap on your head and inject it with gel, ask you questions like microphone, thermos, window, laptop, mouse, keyboard. See if your synapses fire or not. My results came back as average.
Hmm.
I had 2 emergency brain surgeries, right? Average is pretty good. I read this as I'm shockingly average. Average. Have you seen what I've been through? There's no way I'm average. Stuff that. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that average is pretty good. Average is no better or smarter than any one of you here today. I've just been dribbling up boards, toes over the nose of my board, riding this wave down. Average is pretty good. So I share that to kind of give you a level set with where I'm at with why I'm speaking. I'm an average guy who's just decided to make life work for me. With the discrepancies, with the issues, with the setbacks. I'm rolling with the punches and keeping things going, but I'm an average guy. And so this is something that anyone can do. I'm no better or smarter than any one of you here today. Remember that when I'm telling the stories, okay?
I like that. I like that it's kind of just you feel like everyone would benefit from this, and also that it's like everyone could benefit from sharing their own story as well. And I found that to be really true also, just the ability to kind of get your story in your own head. That takes a lot of effort to kind of be like, okay, well, if I'm going to tell this story, how am I going to tell this story? Um, and it's really interesting to go through all of that. Was that a challenge for you to say, okay, well, how do I want to tell this story?
Yeah, I mean, I've done probably close to 100 podcasts by now. So the talk tracks, the stories are all kind of tweaked and honed based on the feedback I've gotten from the podcast hosts and also listening back from my own ear. It's been a great way to trial out stories and practice before on the keynote stage.
Hmm?
I found a lot of value from doing podcasts to help me tighten up my talk tracks, my storylines, and what value I add to the audience. So it's just practice. Lots of trial and error, lots of failures. But it's an ongoing thing, and I'm looking to continue building.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you don't see yourself slowing down at any point? Is there a point you're going to get to where it's like, I've asked myself this question. Is there a point you're going to get to where you're like, okay, I think I've shared enough?
Yeah, well, it's like telling the story about the brain hemorrhage is one thing. It gets a bit tiresome after a few podcasts, but
Mm,
life after the injury kind of continues on, right? And then, like, I don't talk about that side of things too often. So like the daily challenges I face and how I navigate those is kind of more interesting piece for me because that's more fresh and present.
yeah.
But it's in order for you to understand why I'm talking and why you listen to me in the first place, or you consider my perspective in the first place, it's I got to tell the story, what happened to me, so you buy into what I'm selling. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes total sense. So before we really get into your story, just kind of a get to know you question. Is there a movie or a TV show that you really enjoy that you feel more people should take the time to enjoy?
I'm late to the party on this one, but I just finished Breaking Bad for the first time, and that series was amazing. The
Yeah.
story progression of Walter White from that bumbling science teacher to the meth drug dealer at the end of the storyline, where he just goes in and executes all the Aryan Brotherhood. It's a remarkable storyline and really well done. Very profound series, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the shows that I would watch again and again. I feel like you have to watch it at least twice because you get through it all the way, and just like then going back and watching it, knowing his arc and watching the beginning of it especially is another wild ride. Like it's a second opportunity to have this wild ride.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just finished it for the first time, so I'm pretty new to late to the game here on this one.
That's okay. That's all right. So let's get into your story a little bit. Take us back to that optometrist appointment. What were you expecting when you went in? Like why did you go in? And then what was going through your mind whenever they handed you that envelope?
Yeah, this is back in 2014 in jolly old London, England. Working in tech for a company called Hootsuite, social media management platform. Worked as an implementation specialist, so post sale, helping clients successfully use the platform, different use cases. Worked in EMEA, so Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Hmm.
So think clients in Saudi Arabia in the morning, Milano, Italy in the afternoon, and Yorkshire in the evening.
Wow.
Wide scope of clientele, wide scope of use cases. Life was pretty fast and loose. We had a keg at the office. And that finished off on a Friday night. We'd go to the pubs. Night bus home at 4 a.m. Life was fast, life was loose. Started having these headaches. They got worse after a few weeks. Taking painkillers like candy for them as my head was pounding. On
Oh,
the tube one day, tubes I zigzag around London, lumbering towards Nine Hill Gate tube station on the district line. That's a slow roll at the best of times. Headaches were so bad. Vision turned starry and I saw spots. Closer to fade to black. It was a race to who could arrive at the station first, me or the blindness.
mm,
Arrived at Nine Hill Gate tube station, stepped onto the platform, mind the gap. And the lights went out. I couldn't see a thing. The
wow.
station's swirling around me. I can smell it, I can hear it, but I can't see a thing. I want to ask you, what would you think? What would you feel? What would you do?
I mean, I would definitely be a little bit in a panic. Right? I mean, if I'm not to the point of being blackout drunk or something and there's not some other explanation for it, I'm definitely at that point going to be in quite a bit of panic and probably
Yeah.
trying to make any phone call I possibly could.
Yeah, well, I stepped on that platform, the station swirling around me, and I froze there like a statue. How am I gonna get out of this pickle? I'm thinking. Can't see anything. I'm terrified, right?
Yeah.
I wish I could say I had a good answer for how I could resolve this issue. I did not. After the longest 3 minutes of my life, my vision came back and I carried on with my day. The next day, I went storming back into A&E. Now, A&E is accident emergency in the UK, like ER in Canada, the United States. What's going on here? I was blinded on a tube station in London. This is not normal. They ran some more tests, and again, they thought it was vertigo. They sent me home. On the way out, they told me I could always get my eyes checked by an optometrist. Bit odd, I thought, but sure, why not? Next day, the hypnotist came back with a vengeance, and I found myself in Mr. Patel's chair. It was midway through routine exam when he stops the exam. Excused himself in the room, and he comes back a few minutes later with a sealed envelope chance to me. He told me to go directly to Moorfield's Eyesore, which I did. Well, hello, I stopped at home first to grab a Jack Reacher book by Lee Childs, a phone charger, and a bite to eat. Then arrived at Moorfield's Hospital, handed them the sealed envelope. They ran the same test there again, then escalated up to Charing Cross Hospital. We're getting somewhere. I'm thinking, this is positive. This is a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It turns out I had a dangerous buildup of pressure in my brain caused by a non-cancerous cyst in my pineal gland. This prevents
Wow.
the fluid from my brain draining as it normally would, causing the pressure to mount up, causing me vision issues. It turns out I will require emergency brain surgery tomorrow. It turns out the world's about to change altogether. After a frantic back and forth with folks in Canada, the last text message my mom received reads, "I'll see you soon, Mom. I think I'll have a new haircut next time I see you." Up down. Mom's in the air flying to London on June 21st, 2014 on the operating table. Something goes horribly wrong. I have a massive bleed in the brain,
Mm.
a brain hemorrhage. The cyst burst when they operated. Mom lands and finds I'm in critical condition. In a coma for 4 weeks. I was in and out of consciousness for months after this. Alarms constantly went off as blood pressure spiked or heart rate too high. Initial breathing was done to help the respirator. Temperature kept soaring to these ice blankets above and below me to keep my core temperature down. This led to violent shivering.
Mm.
I was in the coma for 4 weeks. Then miraculously I came out. My mom, brother, and dad are on the bed. I try to talk, but I can't talk. Give me a pen and paper, I have the signal. When the pen and paper would get me out of here. I couldn't remember the count. And he looked at me
Mm.
and goes, "What do you want me to do?" My one eye was wonky as heck. My left leg had atrophied in the coma. I couldn't walk on the stage. But I thought this looked bad. Let's get out of Dodge. So that's where the story kicks off. And, healthy, active guy one day, waking up 4 weeks later, being told this is what happened to you, Dan. This isn't my life. Like, I was healthy
Yeah.
yesterday. And you're telling me now this all happened to me? Like, I was healthy yesterday. I was literally in Lithuania the weekend before this. I'm certain the outcome would have been different, right? Actually, much to my surprise, Lithuania is a very beautiful and modern country. Vilnius is a gorgeous city. But this isn't my life, right? I was playing sports the weekend before this, like out drinking with the buddies, and then being woken up in the hospital bed, being told this is what happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
The world kind of became very real very quickly, very small very quickly.
Yeah. You said whenever you woke up from that coma, and also that you were kind of in and out and everything, that your mom and your dad and your brother were there. Is that the first thing you remember, is just seeing them sitting there?
I have this one memory from the coma. I was on a submarine. There was a massive aquarium on the submarine, and I thought, why would you have an aquarium on a submarine? We're already underwater, buddy. But I was walking around this aquarium, and I couldn't understand why this was happening. It was fleeting memories of, being bathed and moved and shuffled
Mm.
and being woken up and being told, "Hey, this is what happened to you, Dan." Now it's like, it's not, no, the talk I use, through line I use in my talk is, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters, right? It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. Woke up in that hospital bed thinking, this is not good, right?
Mm.
But in all honesty, they didn't think I'd be making out of this coma. So it's not good this happened to me, but I'm still alive. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now it's what I think about it that matters, right? So I began rehabbing like a maniac, Those first few instances took a few, 45 minutes to get in the wheelchair. Next week, 40, then 35, then 30. I began incrementally ratcheting myself back up to a point where I could get back to life and build myself back up.
Yeah.
Now, 45 minutes to get into a wheelchair is pretty arduous, pretty slow rolling. Every muscle tearing, aching, groaning, screaming, crying. I'm incrementally increasing it for 5 minutes faster, right? Give me an indication of how bad things were, right? And I couldn't talk initially. My vocal cords were fried from the tracheotomy and the breathing tube. I
Mm.
told my parents, you may not be a talker again. I had a Kiwi nurse, and she was a mean old gal, and she took me out of the park. some kids playing football, soccer across the park. She goes, Dan, those kids across the park, they don't think you're good enough to talk, Dan. They don't think you're good enough to talk. Get you back to. And I yelled across the park, some fans was playing your team today. You need to say, find out what motivates you, proving you wrong. I can't do this. Watch this. But it's all about finding what motivates you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't judge your motivation. It comes from where it comes from. Who are you to say the motivation is not from a good holistic place? Like, ride the wave that comes, because those waves are very infrequent. When you're down in the dumps, you're looking for any line up to help you. That proving you wrong, venom and spite, like really worked for me. Maybe it works for you too.
Yeah. How did that nurse, I mean, what did she ever explain, like what made her think to do that?
Yeah, my parents had built this dossier of me when I was in a coma, who Dan is. And they wrote, like, Dan's a sportsman, a world traveler, a master's graduate. Here's his girlfriend, Demi. And she goes, oh, he's a sportsman. I'll get him talking again. The competitive nature in me, right? And that's what triggered her to do that. I'm thinking. I didn't ask her about it afterwards. It's the rage and anger and venom that came out of me was just so apparent. Like, I kind of realized this is a vein to hammer, right? Proving you wrong is a big vibe, right? You can hammer this and motivate yourself to get out of pickles that you're in a bad way. So it's finding out what motivates you and hammering that.
Yeah, yeah. So, what was the hardest thing for you to relearn and why?
Well, walking was not easy, and I'll tell you some
Mm.
stories about walking. I've got 2 stories to share with you now. So in order to walk, I had to wear a splint over my left leg. Splint's like a cast. You gently let wherever your leg muscles are gently tease back into shape. So they told me. Truth be told, the first night I wore the splint through the night, no issue, no stress. This will be easy. I thought this will be easy. Hinting it's not going to be easy, right? Second night, after 20 minutes it was painful. After 30 minutes it was dreadful. After 40
Mm.
minutes it was unbearable. I buzzed the nurse. Take the splint off my leg because I can't handle the pain. But I told them tomorrow we're doing this for an hour. I'm a walker. I can handle the pain. Big talk. The third and wrap the leg right off the ankle. I mean, the clicker and the nurse call button. Go patrol the Wilson ward. So the Wilson ward was an L shape. So short on this side, long on this side. Okay, short on this side, long on this side. Leave me in a hospital room that smells like only a hospital room can smell. Sanitized, sterilized. It's clean, but you're wondering what sort of atrocities have been committed under the guise of lemon possessedness. After 10 minutes, legs painful. After 20 minutes, legs dreadful. After 30 minutes, legs unbearable.
Mm.
Start passing the clicker back and forth, trying to distract myself from the pain. As the pain ratchets up, my throats get more enthusiastic. Well, eventually, inevitably, I drop the clicker. And it lands on the hard floor 3.5 feet down the ground.
Mm.
Sugar, I say. I didn't say sugar. Any adjectives of sugar were used, but sugar was not one of them. I can tell you that much. I look over the edge of the bed. I can see the clicker there lying on the floor. I can see the clicker there lying on the floor looking back at me. If I get that clicker, I can stop this pain. I can end this monstrosity. Only problem was, fall from that height might break my arm.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I figured about a 50-50 chance we'd break my arm. Coin flip, not the best odds. I changed tack. I'm trying to untie this, but it's tied up to the ankle, not at the hip. I reach that far down, I'm not that flexible. Help! Help! I'm yelling at the top of my lungs. But the word Wilson's a no shit, right? Short on this side,
Mm-hmm.
long on this side, short on this side, long on this side. You're at the far end of the ward. They can't hear me out for help. I decided to flip the coin. Drop down and got the computer. Even if I break my arm, splint's gotta come out like this partner. 1, 2, and 3. Throw myself out to bed, crash down in heat, blankets, wires, cables, all go. The arm bolts. I hammer the clicker, expecting the nurses to come bursting into the room like the bat signal's been put up. They kind of stroll in 5 minutes later. What are you doing the floor of? First of all, I say. That's a fantastic British accent there. Where'd you say it from again? I did not say that. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to the matters, right? It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to the matters. The reason why I'm telling this story is I learned 3 lessons from this experience. The first lesson being the most obvious. Let's not pass the click back and forth. That's a bad idea. Second lesson being let's have the splint not at the ankle. That way I can untie the shit that's happened going forwards.
Mm.
And the third lesson, or probably most profound, was let's always be solutions oriented from this moment forwards. When things go sideways in life, how do you resolve your issue? How do you fix your problem? With the help of the splint, I got to walk in the hallways in the Zimmer frame, lurching forward. And then moved up to the Ferrari. Ferrari was a walker and Ferrari racing red. I was going fast. It was my grease lightning. And came time for naked walks. Now, naked walks, what are those, you may ask? I'm walking without spoiler aids. I'm walking naked. The term kind of stuck. I'm going down to get the naked walks, but man, I'm just happy moving.
Mm-hmm.
Then came time to walk in Tooting Broadway. So I want to ask you, have you been to London, England?
I have not, no.
Okay. Well, Tooting Broadway is an area in South London, an area they call up and coming. Think loud sirens, drugs, gangs. It's dirty, it's hectic, and boy, is it busy. Walk with a cane and walk with an eye patch. After 4 months in a wheelchair, I'm literally Bambi on ice.
Mm-hmm.
I turn the corner to walk on the high street for the first time. Immediately get slammed into by someone. I stagger back a few feet. Someone else scurries past me on the right hand side. I thought it was done with the rats. Someone had been stabbed on the sidewalk over here. I'm thinking this is a pretty wild place to learn to walk. After a few days of this, I was thinking this is the worst place to learn how to walk in the world. Can't they see I'm trying to walk here? Can't they see I'm trying here? And then one day my perspective shifted. Maybe this isn't the worst place to learn to walk in the world. Maybe this is the best. If I can walk here, I can walk anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The Chin Broadway didn't change, right? I went from the worst, the best in my mind, and my mood reflected that. What are you looking at in your life you're convinced is the worst? Convinced is the absolute worst. Hey, maybe it is. Maybe you can find a way to turn down the suck a little bit, shift that perspective a little bit. Iron Mike Tyson famously said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Now, your punch may not be a brain hemorrhage, right? Facts. Will be a job loss, a breakup, a diagnosis for you, a loved one. You will take that punch in the mouth. How you respond? I'm offering a compass, not a map, but a compass. It always points towards true north. We'll look at things like mindsets, perspectives, and hacks. Hacks to allow you and your team better than yesterday, tomorrow. My name's Dan MacQueen, and the reason why I told you that story about learning to walk and tune Broadway, when you change the way you look at the world look at changes. And you don't need a brain hemorrhage to understand that. I share those stories with you to showcase, how difficult the climb up was.
Mm-hmm.
Back to walking, to changing my mindset, to navigating change, and turning down the suck, so to speak. But it was a dogfight out of the gate. Like, it was an uphill
Yeah.
battle, and I really had to fight hard to stay out of the pity spiral. The woe is me, this isn't fair. Because you're right, it's not fair. It's not my fault, but it's my responsibility, right? They said the odds of being a human being are 400 trillion to 1. 400 trillion to 1. That's a staggering number of zeros. More likely to win the lotto 10 times than you are in your lifetime than you are of life in the first place. You get to do this. So I'm only Dan MacQueen because the blip was in my DNA. Without it, it wouldn't be me. And I wouldn't create myself for the world. I get to do this. So now I just reframe my mindset, right? Anything difficult in life happens. Can I switch this? Can I shift the perspective? Quite big on stoicism. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
So stoicism is really big in my life now, and I really think that that's a mindset that serves me. Books by Ryan Holiday are quite important for this. Ego is the enemy. Discipline is destiny. Courage is calling. Help you understand how you can reframe things in a positive manner. Those books make the stoicism very approachable and applicable. They help you from a mindset that serves you. So if you can get the mindset right, and everything else is just a cakewalk. If you're thinking about this in a positive manner, I can like those walks in Tune Row, right? Bump into me, crash past me, good. Bring it on. If I can walk here, I can walk anywhere. But that made them from the worst to the best in my mind, right? Ran halfway there, Mama Fox, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely that mindset, the shift in how you're viewing what your situation is it can be really helpful. Do you ever think that there was anything that you just couldn't shift your mindset on? Did you ever encounter that, or was like, no, this just sucks?
I mean, for sure. Like for instance, last week I was trying to get a video, a keynote edited or shot in Kelowna last April, and get that edited by a videographer, and found out the footage has been deleted,
Hmm.
and I was pissed at myself because it was my fault. I should have downloaded and re-uploaded to my drive to save it. It was my fault entirely, and I was livid because it was a big pillar for my like speaking business, right, to get this off the ground. And then I realized can't control it, can't change it.
Yeah.
Learn from it and move on. Next time you bet your bottom dollar, we bet downloading that file and uploading to my drive specifically, right? I learned by failure, by trial and error. I gotta touch the stove and know it's hot. I gotta fail. And failing when you're 39 years old is not the coolest thing to do because, like, I should know these lessons by now. I
Mm.
worked in tech for 10 years. I should know this lesson, but I made that mistake. But you can bet I won't be making that mistake again, right? It's all about reframing these things as as an opportunity to learn, an obstacle to like grow from and develop from.
Yeah.
The mindset now is so pure that I think I'm not my mindset's moved from why me to try me. I'm antagonistic for like this setback, these bad things in my life. I'm like, well, is that all you got? Bring it on here. Let's go. Let's help me navigate this change successfully and come out the side stronger.
Yeah. So what was your support system like after you woke up from your coma and everything? Did your mom and dad and your brother stick around? Who or what helped you the most?
Yeah, so brother came to visit me from Berlin quite a bit, and parents came over from Vancouver to London. They lived there for 2 years to help me get back on my feet. It was slow going. Every day in the hospital was like a lifetime, and the day and the night in the hospital is quite an interesting juxtaposition. So the daytime, the doctor's there, the nurses there, families are visiting you, like you're doing so well, Dan. Go to the class at the coffee shop, stroll the Wilson ward in the wheelchair. Nighttime, doctors go home, parents go home. We're brought into one room to sleep, right? And the wails of these patients in the nighttime was so
Mm.
loud I couldn't sleep for the first few nights. Their lives had been shattered by chance, by circumstance, by factors outside of their control for the most part. I had to get noise canceling headphones to let myself sleep at night because it was so loud.
Yeah.
This haunted me for days. But I adapted to it, right? I made the change. But the first night was terrifying in the hospital. Like this is my reality right now. This is this is the road ahead, dude. You get to terms with this and navigate this successfully and reframe this in a way that serves you. And it was not easy to do, but it was simple. Simple, not easy. Simple to decide, well, no one can help me get through the night here. I gotta kind of do it on my own. But then you just decide that, make that choice, and then put on that path. I call this decision a day, dad framework. Decision a day. You decide for that day, I'm gonna fight the battle for that day, and you fight the battle for that day. Next day it resets. But you have to decide that day you're fighting that battle.
Hmm.
And this is a mindset thing above anything else. That's why I harp on mindset so much in this talks. You get the mindset right, then it doesn't matter what hits you. It's like you've got the tools that need to navigate change successfully. It's a compass, not a map. The mindset's what you want to get right.
Yeah. What's the difference? I mean, we're a dozen years after this originally started. What's the difference between your brain function now versus before the injury?
Um, Impulsive, fatigued quite easily now. Take
Mm.
a nap every day to like rest up and recover. I mean, I'm lucky that the brain injury allowed me to get back from it today, right? Many people with brain injuries can't get back because the injury itself dictates where your recovery lens. Didn't think I'd be walking again. Didn't think I'd be talking again. Here I am as a speaker, marching around Vancouver, swimming lengths in the pool every week. It's like, don't let anyone dictate where you're at in life and what you should be at. Like, where the ceiling is for you. Like, stuff the ceiling, man. I could walk back in to see my old ICU doctor 2 months after the brain surgery. She burst into tears because I walked in with a cane and an eye patch and I lumbered in like lurching forward. I didn't think she'd ever see me walking again. I told my friend like he's probably not gonna be able to walk unaided for the rest of his life. My parents aren't gonna be able to talk again. The nurse got me singing. Don't let these issues stop you and put a ceiling on your life. I'm saying stop them, stop their required for how your life should go. Like dictate your own life. Grab the reins and dictate how you want it to play out. And that's an exhausting way to live life because every day you have to fight that battle for that day. But you fight the battle for the day because you get the chance to. Decision a day. Every day I wake up with an intention. I get a morning routine that serves me. And the most profound and probably provocative thing I do is I am the shower cold shower. Nothing heroic here, 3 to 4 minutes. In Vancouver, it's not that cold, but it's still, I'm still like hurting at the end of that 4 minutes. I'm dying. I'm getting out of that shower. It proves that I can do hard things that day. I'm setting the intention for the day that I'm doing hard things today. I've done hard things that morning. Just getting the mindset right about fighting the day and navigating that change. Brings me to a point of fostering resilience. I want to talk to with your audience. How do you foster resilience? Dan, I'm not that resilient. I don't think I could have come back from this. Everyone's resilient, okay? It's a muscle you can flex and build and grow over time. You can be resilient by keeping promises to yourself, having nature or sports. I think keeping promises to yourself, as Alex Hormozy says, is the most important thing to remember here. You don't get confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror. You get confident by repeatedly doing what you're going to do, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. So I swim 3 times a week in the pool. I set an intention for laps I own the pool, and I have those laps no matter what. Those laps no matter what, no matter what, no matter what. Save one exception. There's a backstroker in my lane. I can negate the lanes entirely and go directly in the sauna. I got especially one of the backstrokers. Don't get me started with them. Got a stack of evidence that says I do this for months, right? I've got a note on my phone that goes back years that says like amount of lengths and time it took. And sometimes I'll have brackets being like backstroker in the lane to showcase why it was such a small amount. But it's proving that I do what I say I'm gonna do, building that stack of evidence, right? I got a new one now in the sauna. I get in the sauna, and for 10 minutes I'm burning up. I decide then and there, I'm not the next one out of the sauna. I don't know who is, but it's not me. Now, truth be told, I have lost this game a few times. I've been playing heads up a few times in the sauna, and that's a dangerous way to play. But more often than not, I'm not the next one in the sauna. I've got the stack of evidence that says I do what I say I'm going to do. You can build resilience in your life, but you have to keep that promise to yourself. Pick something small to do and just repeatedly do it for days, weeks, months, and years. You can build that stack of evidence, right? It's simple, not easy.
So I gotta ask, what's the beef with backstroke? What's the beef there?
How much time do you got?
As much as you want to talk about it.
Backstrokers for me, they're inconsiderate, pricks in the pool. They're not worried about anyone else but themselves. It's like if you're in a lane with two lanes in the pool and they got like 5 people in the lane, and you got one person backstroking there and there's plowing into people. It's like, yeah, no kidding, you're crashing me. You can't see where you're going, man. There's 5 people in one lane. Like, have some consideration here. But when they hit me a few times, I just like, you know what? I get out of shit. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to the sauna. Peace out, lanes.
Yeah.
So that's my view with backstrokers. If you're a backstroker, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's my ride or die. That's my ride or die with that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, and it gives you a little bit of a. I mean, it's a not a fun thing to be like, nope, that's it. I'm out. I'm gonna go do this for myself. But kind of that way to check yourself too and say, you know what, I'm just gonna take this out because I need it today for my own sanity, and that's that, and that's okay.
And if I'm close to the lane totals, I probably will continue. Like if I'm at like 35 and someone comes in lane, I'm like, I can make 40. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the issue is when I'm at like 35 and I'm trying to do like 80 lengths, it's like I'm not doing that.
Right. Right.
My patience runs dry pretty quick.
I'm not putting up with it.
But
That's fair.
it's about that stack of evidence, right? Like I've done this for so many years.
Yeah.
You start with 1 week, right? And then do that for 1 week and then do another week. And then you got 2 weeks on the docket and then 3 weeks and then 4 weeks. Aim small, miss small, and ratchet. Let me explain. I meditate every morning for 20 minutes. That's a big number. Don't start with 20 minutes, you'll fail. Don't think of a pink elephant. I got Dumbo in my mind. Pink is all hell. Flying through the air. The mind's a funny thing, right? But I started with 2 minutes in the morning. Did that for a week, and the next week I did 4. I did 6. Aim small, miss small, and ratchet. Once you ratchet up, that's the new baseline. I do 2. I do 4. I do 6. I do 8, I do all the way to 20. Well, you know what? You're not gonna fail because you're only aiming for 2 minutes more than the week before.
Hmm.
Just small chasm to reach that you can hit that goal easily, right? But in life, the fastest way to get big goals is to do small, consistent work consistently over time and ratchet up. That's the new baseline, ratchet up. I used to walk every morning before work in Haringey Ladder. It's this road system. It's like a ladder formation. It's just like different roads, and walk for 1 block 1 week. Next week I did 2 blocks, then 3 blocks, then 4 blocks, then 5 blocks. Then I wrap it up to the time frame available. That's how I started this process, right? Starting is so much more difficult than keeping it going. Momentum is so important for this. Pick a small target you can hit, nail it, and then that's the new ratchet point. That's the baseline. That's 2, and that's 4, and that's 6. That's how you reach big goals, right? Small, consistent action.
Yeah. You've talked about hacks a little bit already. You've mentioned them and you kind of just hit on one there, but you also talk about gamification in your recovery, even in your intro, even in your bio. Can you give us some examples of that?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll give you a couple stories here. You can make Lifeboat play on Watts. It's a bit lighter, it's a bit more fun, it's a bit more tactile. So I've got this hack called icebreakers, right? So London's a busy city. Walking through Oxford Circus, Piccadilly Circus, it's a bloody circus. You want to find an icebreaker, someone to walk behind, let them break the ice for you. Reduce that oncoming strife of people brushing past you. You can save your battery. That one called Bet on the Ponies. So in the tube in London's quite busy at times. I try to bet on the ponies. What I mean by this is betting on people getting off of the horses at the stops ahead of you. Based on their dress, their demeanor, where they're, where we're at now. Oxford Circus, probably certain clientele. I box out those seats so I can sit on the tube. I can rest myself and get the strain off the body. So you start thinking about life in this kind of gamification manner. Now I want to share a story about Monopoly. Bring this kind of full circle here. I played Monopoly with my family last summer. We had a place in Gibson's on the Sunshine Coast. My brother, mom, and dad. I was a bit cheeky. I looked up online how to win Monopoly, right? Before the game. I didn't tell them this. But it tells you, focus on getting Monopoly. Avoid the railroads, avoid the utilities, avoid the expensive properties, focus on getting a Monopoly. I'm going around and like land on, waterworks. You want to buy that down? No, thank you. Land on the utility. Want to buy that down? No, thank you. Land on Park Place. On my board, that's the top spot on the whole market. Want to buy that down? No. Yeah, do you know how to play Monopoly? My head, I'm like, yeah, but am I like at the moment I'm like, do I? Like, what am I doing here? This is the top property on the board. I gotta buy this thing. But I held on, I held fast. Actually got a Monopoly on Marvin Gardens, the yellow row on the first row, the Monopoly board. I had all this money saved up on not buying frivolous properties. I put all of them down on hotels and houses. You land on that place, that's that's like $100. That's like bankruptcy, right? I mopped the floor with them. All that's to say is if you know that your strategy is correct, you have people wailing at you saying this is wrong, this is you should be doing this differently. It's like, no, hold fast. You know this is right. And I mopped the floor with Monopoly. In life it's the same way, right? Like, am I doing the right thing here? It's like, I don't know. There's so many voices telling me to do different things here. Change your tack. This is not right. If you know it's right, hold your nerve right. Hold fast. So make things about gamification. Bring that into your decision making process and how you live life. And this allows it to be more light and more fun, to be more playful. Not so serious all the time, right? It's you don't laugh, you cry, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of probably a self defense mechanism for myself to just have fun with things and not be so serious about stuff all the time. But like, I'll be honest with you, it was a tough road to get back from it today. It was not easy. But I've chose to look at the lighter side of things. Laugh at myself falling down and tripping and stumbling over things. Like, I walk in London, the pavement in London is quite uneven. All broken down roads. It's like hundreds of years old that has been touched. I tripped a lot because I can't see the ground that I'm walking on because my television's still there. And I get quite frustrated by this. And even on the computer today, looking at the computer today, I can't look at the screen properly when I'm typing. So my head's tilted back now. get very frustrated. I'm like, hey, Dan, you get to do this, man. Like, chill out a little bit. Like, enjoy the process, enjoy the suck, and take time. Now that I want to share one more story about eye surgeries I had a couple months ago. I call this the next step. So if you notice in the stream, I'm looking a lot to the left. Oh, that's so annoying, Dan. Why can't you look me directly in the eyes? I know. 2 years ago, I had the third surgery I had in the eyes. First one on the left, trying to correct the dull vision I've got from the brain injury. Surgery straight in the eyes, but it adjusted the tether in my left eye. I don't trust the left eye anymore. Look on this side, look through the right eye. My dad asked me, he goes, Dan, you regret having the eye surgery? I stammered off quick, yes, it's changed everything. It's changed everything. The more I thought about it, I realized I don't regret having the eye surgery. I was taking the next step. Reminded by this book by Charlie Munger, The Boy, the Fox, the Horse, and the Mole. The boy's walking through a thick wood. He yells back at the horse. He goes, I can't see a way through. The horse says, can you see your next step? The boy says, yes. The horse says, well, then just take that. That's what I was doing with the estrogen, taking the next step. And sometimes that step backfires. The process of getting better is what you have to instill in your bones. Sometimes that's going to backfire on you.
Mm-hmm.
Failure to get something to be comfortable with, and I've failed a ton. This wasn't one step back, this was 20. Truth be told, this knocked me, this was a huge knock, right? Now, fast forward to 6 months ago, I had the 4 surgery on the eyes, 2 on the right, 2 on the left. Surgery straight in the eyes. Initially, the head tilt was not as pronounced as it is now. It's kind of creeping back up to where it was, unfortunately, but I'm going to go through some new stuff with a neurologist in the next couple months. I'm going to get some Botox in my neck to hopefully reduce the head tilt and ease the neck tilt and allow the brain to get used to this new vision I've got here. All that's to say is I'm not speaking about adversity and resilience from like a highfalutin tower above all this. I'm still stumbling through the back streets, getting lost in the back alleys and stumble, scream my way through this process. It's an uphill battle, but I'm here to fight it. I get to do this, right? The process to get better is what I want to still in your audience. The process is the process is the process. And if you trust the process, you make gains and improvements. Failure's so big for this. One last story, and I'll turn it back over to you. I used to shower with a bath mat in London. Nurses told my parents he's got to use the bath mat. He might fall in the shower. It's dangerous. Every day when I went to work, I'd hang the bath mat up in the bathroom. It would drip and drain. The symbol that I wasn't good enough to shower, and it drove me nuts. Drove me nuts. Drove me nuts. But one day I decide I don't need this stinking bath mat anymore. Parents are like, no, Dan, you got to use the bath mat. You might slip and fall. I don't need the bath mat. So I showered with the bath mat, and guess what? It was just fine. So we tried the bath mat. Only by risking failure can you improve your lot. Can you improve your scope of life? I used to walk with a cane in London. Came back to Vancouver for the holidays. Left the cane in London, but was just fine, so I retired the cane. I risked that failing point, that failure. You can't improve unless you reach for something. Now, don't screw up and blame it on me for Dan. You gotta try something out. Do this within your own limitations, please. But that's how you get better, is by risking failure. And sometimes I fail. Like that eye surgery, the third eye surgery was a massive backfire, a massive failure. But the process is the process, right? You got to risk it for the biscuit kind of vibe.
Yeah. Now, you're talking about all of this now, and I'm sure that the progress at the very beginning must have felt incredibly slow for you. How did you stay motivated in those early days before you were like, this is the strategy. This is what, now you can look back and go, this is what really got me through. How did you stay motivated in the early days?
Yeah, I've got all these whimsical stories and lessons now. Like at the time, at point
Yeah.
of contact, I was trying to survive.
Right.
Like full stop. I was just like, don't give up. And hold on, hold on. I wasn't going to let go. If it came and got me, then it came and got me, but I wasn't going to let go from this. That's me being a stubborn old mule. I don't know what it is, but it's just like, I'm not going to let go. I'm not going to like take a knee for this. So, you gotta fight. And the dots line up looking backwards. They don't look up going forwards, right? These whimsical stories I got now, these lessons learned about, solutions oriented. Like at the time, like this splint hurts like hell. Take it off my leg now.
Yeah.
And I was willing to risk breaking the arm for it, like the honest truth for that, right? Now it's like, well, solutions oriented. Don't pass the quicker back and forth. right up at the hip. Like, doesn't make sense now, but like at the time, I was like, get this put off my leg. This hurts like hell. This is horrible. So, if you're going through a tough time, don't give up. Keep fighting.
Yeah.
You don't cry. My talks are probably not going to be for you because, like, if you throw up your hands saying, you know, this isn't fair, right? It's not fair. Guess what? Life's not fair. If you throw your hands up and do this, I can't help you because I can only help people that want to try to get better and improve. My talks are probably not for everyone. Probably brush up against some hard stuff that you don't want to look in the mirror and say, hey, maybe this is me. But you're trying. Hey, I'll give you all the time in the world. I gave these talks in my old Wilson Rehab Center. Outpatients started getting me speaking for my speaking career. A little talk that came to me in Epiphany in New York. And talk about swimming, as I mentioned in the presentation today, the conversation today. And after the talk, this gentleman wrote, you know, Dan, after hearing you talk about swimming, I'm going to try swimming again. Before the brain injury, I was going a lot, but since brain injury, I haven't because it was so difficult to get going. When I first started going back to the pool, I'd get changed for 40 minutes, swim for 5, change for 40 minutes.
Mm.
5 minutes in the pool, right? It was arduous, difficult, slow, grindy. Everything was overwhelming. Then turned to 10 minutes, then 15 minutes, then 20 minutes. Now I swam, we see over 100 laps for an hour and 20 minutes. But you get there by doing small steps consistently. And I'm going to try again from his comment was the best comment I had because maybe he continued swimming, maybe he stopped. Maybe he's still swimming now because of what I said to him. You got to try and you can't give in. If you try, I promise you it gets easier. You get stronger and it gets easier. You got to keep trying, keep pushing, keep failing. Show me your failures. You're stuck in life. Show me your failures. Are you trying hard enough to fail? If you're not, then I can see why you're stuck. That's why you got to do this. Like the constantly pushing up against failure is such a hard concept to grasp. You think like I've lost. It's like no, that's how you win. Understanding that you failed, there will go right this time. Or go left. I gave this. I did a podcast a couple months ago. Gamer podcast, right? As we mentioned on the call before we jump on the call today, I'm not a big gamer, but I used to play Mario Kart 64. I was good at that game. I was awesome at that game. We talk about Mario Kart 64. Life's like Mario Kart 64. On the mushroom circuit, driving around the track, on the second left-hand turn, there's an obstacle. Hit it the first time, hit it the second time, hit it the third time. Dude, you know the obstacle's there. Drive around it. There's patterns in life. There's patterns in video games. Understand the patterns and avoid them. I've been down this road before. I know this ends up. There's an obstacle there. Drive around this. I tried this way. It didn't work last time. Try a different way. Failed that way. Try a different way. You got to try and constantly be okay with failure. That's how you improve. That's how you grow. That's how you develop.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons that we can take from games, especially, and apply them to life for sure. We were talking ahead of this, but I am a big gamer. Everyone on this podcast already knows that, but I am a huge gamer, and I really think that there's a lot. I've done talks on gaming as self-care. I've done talks on gaming and how it relates to mental health, and gaming and social connections. Like there's all kinds of things that I've talked about, but trying to make a game out of your recovery and all of that is always really fascinating to me. Now you said
Yeah, I mean, it's.
okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say you said in a couple of different talks that there's nothing like a brain injury to refocus the mind. What did your brain injury teach you that you couldn't have learned any other way?
Yeah, that's a good question. Look, life came pretty easy for me in London. Like I was pretty popular. I had lots of girlfriends. Life was pretty fast and loose. I wasn't really that intentional with my life, my time, my energy. The brain injury happened. All that gets taken away from you, right? You're back down to square one. I can't walk, talk, or smile. I'm humbled to my core, right? And all these lessons I've learned over my 28 years were erased in an instant. It's like they're just gone. Poof. I should know this lesson, but I've forgotten it because I've had to relearn this stuff. So it's the gentle process of just kind of humbling yourself
Hmm.
and being okay with being humbled. And realizing that humbling and failing is actually the way forward. By failing, I'm actually getting a step closer to where I'm gonna be successful. So every failure now, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting closer here. I failed so many times doing this the wrong way. I know how to do it right now. I just keep failing and failing, like that obstacle in the Mario Kart. I keep hitting that again and again. And it's like, dude, the obstacles are drive around this. But they come with life. Patterns come with life as well. Cyclical. Like you understand these come around. Like, oh, this happened last year. This time, like I did this way last time. It failed. Let's try the other way. It fails. Try it the other way. Like keep tweaking a little bit. Hope is not cross your fingers and close your eyes and pray. It's like cross your fingers, intentionally go into it and fail and fail and fail and fail and fail, and then you find a way through.
Mm.
You got to do that, 3 to 10 times and be okay with that because that's a humbling thing, right? To fail, especially now, like as a keynote speaker now, it's like I'm a keynote speaker. Cool. It's like this is an open thing I'm doing now online and personal. My friends and family are like, this is ridiculous now. What are you trying to do? It's like, no, I'm making this work. I'm making this happen. But it's like, I know this is working and I'm incrementally ratcheting this thing up. Like I've improving myself week after week, month after month, year after year. Podcasts I've been on, the talk tracks, the website's being redesigned now. Like I'm incrementally ratcheting this up to a point where I'm happy with and moving forwards. It's all about that failure. Like having things is not fun. Getting things is fun. Building something is fun. Failing is fun and learn from the failures is important. That's what life's about, is about building and learn from your failures. I think at least. How I've navigated this change and this setback, like it's unfair it happened to me. Sure, it's not fair, but like guess what? It happened. It's my responsibility now. Am I gonna muck the whole hand now because this happened? No, I'm gonna play it. It's me and having a hand are so small, 400 trillion to one. When they tell me it's not fair, cool, it's not fair. But guess what? No one's coming to save you down this road. They can support, they can offer love, but like no one drags you out of the hole. You gotta get out of the hole yourself by trying and failing. My friend Claire came to visit me in London, Berkey, and she would, visit me in London. She went to Scotland to visit a friend. She saw me in the hospital and she was like, "Dan, you're doing so well. You're trying so hard." Like, yeah, I'm trying hard, but like I can make it. I could try harder. I could try harder. I wanted to prove you right. I went to Scotland. She came back down. On the way back down, I was walking by the time she came back down. I was in a wheelchair before she left. I was walking when she came back down. I wanted to prove her right. Motivation comes from these three horsemen I want to talk about. Proving you wrong, we talked about it earlier. Proving you right, talk about it now, and service. You can bridle all three horses at the same time. If you bridle them all, you can go further together. But find what works for you and hammer that motivation. Don't judge your motivation at all. Harness that horse and ride forward with it because they pull stronger together. So harness all the motivation you can and pull yourself out of the hole you're in.
Yeah. For someone who's listening right now, who's maybe facing their own major challenge, perhaps not a brain injury, but maybe something that does feel insurmountable for their life, for their situation. Insurmountable is different for everyone. But what's the first step you would tell someone in that situation to take?
Take a breath. Write a list of everything bothering you right now.
Hmm.
Episodic, controllable or uncontrollable. Cross out what you can't control, focus on what you can control from that list. Make that list into a new page. Write some strategies on how you can navigate that change and mitigate that risk. The stuff you can't control, I'm telling you to punt it immediately. Keep your world small. There's this app I used to use a while ago called IFTTT, if this then that.
Mm-hmm.
Built these rules in London to help me navigate life. So for instance, yellow delay on the tube, stay the course, red delay, change route because it's gonna be a long wait. I've got a rule with shorts or shorts. So I'd say 25 degrees and above wear shorts, 25 degrees below wear trousers. A rule that I just follow. Like you can control it, do something about it, no punting immediately. Write that list and be real about it. Like, can I control this? If yes, what can I do about this? Like write 2 solutions, 3 solutions, and then focus on that. If you can't control it, just exit out immediately. Keep it small, keep it simple, right? Don't overwhelm your mind with all these possibilities. What could maybe woulda, coulda, should have been happening. Like what's in front of your face? What can I actually do about this?
Yeah.
Like the walking thing, like what can I do to get back to walking? It's like, well, I can wear the splint. It was horribly painful, but like I would do an hour a night to gently tease the like muscle back into shape. And the day I would work out and rehab like a maniac because I had this fire inside me to get back to life. I wanted to prove this people right, prove this people wrong, and help people along the way. I bribed all three of those horsemen that I talked about earlier. So find out what hammers and drives you home and hammer that motivation factor. Hope that addresses your question.
Yeah, I love the idea of taking the list and saying like what's bothering you right now and then writing the controllable, not controllable next to it. I would add also like controllable means something you can do about it now, not something you could have done about it yesterday because that's already done. Like what can you control right now? And then if it changes, like if it's like, oh well, tomorrow I won't be able to control this, then yeah, get that one off that list then at that point. So I love the idea of making that list of what's within my control and what's not. And just I think just the act of listing it all out and then identifying which ones you can control is a really powerful exercise to do.
Just helps like make things simple, right? Like don't get worried about all these things that could happen or like the brain hemorrhage shouldn't have happened to me, right? It shouldn't have happened to me, but it did. Now what can I do about it, right? Well, I can
Yeah.
rehab. I can meditate. I can get up early and cold shower. I can exercise. I can stretch. I can visualize. Like it's all these things that like line up the dots about how I can get better. But like the brain was like, this shouldn't have happened to me. It's like, yeah, it shouldn't have happened to me. Why am I even bandwidth to thinking about that? Like it has happened. It's you can't change it. Why stress about what should have been, what could have been? It wasn't.
Yeah.
Focus on what is, what you can control.
Yeah. Is there anything that most folks get wrong about recovery or overcoming adversity?
Yeah, I'd say there's a lovely line. I saw this on a YouTube short a little while ago, so I'm gonna rip it off, but it's not mine. It's not that simple. And you say, what's not so simple? That it's not so simple. That's the lie you're told, right? You think it's complicated. It's like, no, no, you know the things you have to do to get better. It's consistent work and ratchet up. Aim small, miss small, and ratchet. All consistent progress is how you reach big goals. 2 minutes in the morning, 4 minutes in the morning, 6 minutes in the morning. That's how you get yourself out of the deep hole. It's a step-by-step ladder process, and it takes a while. But you can dig yourself out of a deep hole by doing this. Slow, consistent work over time. See massive results, massive gains. Be intentional with your time and demeanor. I'm quite big with the Whoop strap, which is a fitness tracker. I track my rest, recovery, and strain. I kind of gamified that, so I really try to work for my strain kind of up to a certain level every day. I do a lot of meditation, cold showers, exercise, push-ups. Get that up to a level I'm happy with. But it all stems on sleep and rest. I base my day on that entirely. Slept poorly, I'll punt everything else. But pick something small you can hit and just build that, and the next week do a bit more, bit more, bit more. You know what, you're doing massive stuff. I had this big goal. I'll share one story with the group now. I had this goal up to brain hemorrhage. I was working on the even bars in my rehab team. Even bars are just the sound like even bars you hold when you're unstable on your feet. Rehab team asked me what I was most looking forward to get back to doing. Big question, I thought. When I played everything soccer, hockey, volleyball, softball, skiing. I thought about it. Skiing would be the most stable, I thought. Balance, core strength, depth perception. Double vision would make things interesting, engaging obstacles at speed. If I could ski again, I'd have to be in a pretty way physically, I thought. I'd like to ski again, I told them. They paused. On agreement. Their eyes betrayed them. Okay, they said, that sounds great. But I'm sure it was a simple exercise. Designed to get me thinking about future goals, was burning back my mind something we got in for. Now, I was asked when I'll make this happen. I said 2022. 10 years from the last ski trip I was on was Morrissey in France. On the gondola ride to go up. Before we get in the gondola, I tell the boys, there's an old hacks of ski racing punk. I used to ski race growing up back in the day. I was quite a big skier. I was invited to be the last one on the gondola. That way you can get the skis and your poles on the doors that goes behind. You can rest on the doors. On the gondola ride going up. Over the first tower, big forwards, big back, Go close your eyes, please. I'll take a plastic Lagana. Feel the nipple cold in your cheeks. Not a lot. Enough to let you know you're at altitude. Dock at the station. We're in the walk station with the gear. Clomp, 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 clomp. Open the doors into a wall of sunshine. Let it hit your face. Warm and sunny. It's a beautiful bluebird day. Big inhale through your nose. On the pines, the cedars, the hemlocks down the stairs. Clang, clang, clang onto the snow. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Soft back of a spring. Open your eyes, please. The situation with the boys, Andrew and RJ. After 10 years off the slopes, I skied. They got video of me skiing, and it looks like I never missed a day. It pumps the poles into a left-hand turn again and again and again. To tell you I thought this was possible to be a lie. This is through and through moonshot goal, something bold to aspire to. Something, if I can only get back to this, wouldn't that be something? And there I am skiing. So you have goals you're aiming for, things you're shooting for. It's holding you back. Not able to walk, talk, or smile. Reminded me of this quote from Confucius. He said, "We live two lives. And the second begins, we realize that we only have one." So I tell you that story to showcase, you had the big moonshot goals, but I got there by small incremental improvements. The last chasm to skiing was so small, I knew I could do it. I was visualizing, I was meditating, I was exercising and stretching. Like I knew I could do it. The last step to ski was just this small step. It wasn't this huge chasm over 10 years. I had ramped up to a point where I knew the next step was so logically small that I could do it. I had visualized this for hours. How am I going to feel my bones, my bodies, my muscles? It helped that I was a ski instructor back in the day, so I remember some old teaching techniques of how to position my body and move that work, but it was the best day I had since a brain injury. It's something that I knew my nurses thought was impossible. But they humored me and they said, sure, that sounds good. And I skied with a new helmet, a bit slower, a bit more casual than I usually ski, on greens and blues, not blacks like I'm usually doing, but it was skiing. And that's to show, like, why not? Why can't you do it? Like, visualize, prepare, stretch, ramp up slowly, aim small, miss small, and ratchet right. So you can achieve big goals and accomplish big things in life. I'm saying don't let people tell you what you can and can't do. Find your own life and dictate how you want this to play out, right? Grab the reins of this. You get to do this, right?
I like the advice of it's not it's all simple because it's just taking that next small step and deciding what that next small step also is sometimes can be the next small step. So I like that. Just really break it down into things that just are it makes the next
And
logical sense.
if you fail, it's like, well, maybe that step was too big. Go
Mhm.
back to the last step and just take a step smaller. Like
Yeah.
trying to do 50 push-ups and you can't do 50, do 30 or 20, and then like this incrementally ratchet down. Next step being so small that you can't hit it, or up by just two or three. Like just ratchet down what you're trying to accomplish to a point where you can do it. The
Yeah.
goal is to get momentum, right? The feeling of momentum is so key for this. Once you feel that drip momentum, it's important to do. This takes the form of like come home from work, throw a little laundry, and get dinner on the boat before you sit down. To tend to something, so much easier to keep it going than it is to start from a dead stop. If I've started something, it's easier to keep it going than it's to start from a dead stop, right? Keep things moving in perpetual motion, and you can accomplish a lot because I'm already halfway done. Like in the shower, with a cold shower in the morning, first time I tried it cold, it's horrible. But then when I'm halfway through, I'm like, well, I'm halfway through. I can get through this. And one last story I'll share with you. Um, I got some tattoos done in London on my left thigh to commemorate the splint and the horrific memories of that. I would ask the tattoo artist to get the tattoo done on the back of my leg. He go, "Can you give me like a percentage basis point of how we're doing here?" Well, we're 55% done, 60% done. And I look at the tattoo like, Danny, we're well beyond that. But I let him humor me with this. So I can visualize like we're 80% done, only 20% left. I could understand the struggle remaining, and I could prepare myself for that. Like frame something like that in your own life, right? What are you facing? What's the parameters here? And just ratchet up to that point. Like visualize in a way that's helpful for you. And then you can accomplish big things here. But if it's all through small, consistent action, the fastest way to reach big goals is through small, consistent work. It compounds over time. But put the work in and show me your failures. Again, don't fail where you hurt yourself. Don't blame me for that. That's on you. But own your stuff, own your failures, own your mistakes. That me losing the footage for the video, the keynote last week, like I was devastated for an afternoon. Devastated. And then I shut it off. Can't control it, can't fix it. Move forward. Learn from the lesson, learn from the failure. In life, there's these situations like this that come up. Like identify the failure. Okay, you screwed up that one pretty bad. Don't do that again. Learn, develop, grow, try.
Yeah. So, Bite Mark would like to know, what is your favorite poem?
It's funny you mention this. I read Invictus with my speech and language therapist, which has got a special place for me. If you don't mind, I can recite it for you now.
Absolutely.
So, hopefully, I remember this all. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeons of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. I heard Morgan Freeman do that online, and I was like, that sounds pretty badass. I'm gonna learn that poem. So I have my keynotes with that every time. It's a good little uplifting poem that kind of reminds you what it's all about. Also reminds me to speak slowly and clearly, as you can tell, I speak quite quickly at times. Sorry, I'm working on that. But that's my favorite poem.
Oh, I love it. It's a good one, and I can definitely see just from the things that you've shared tonight, probably a little bit of why that is kind of your favorite poem. There, the strength and resilience that's in that poem definitely strikes a chord with a lot of what you've said tonight. So that makes sense.
And I
So
believe that stuff. It's like I am the captain of I am the
yeah,
captain of my ship. Like I can control this. You dictate how you want this to play out, right? Like it's on me. Everything's on me. I'm not where I want to be. It's on me. I'm not good enough yet. Use that as fuel to drive you forwards, right? It's like it's not over. Like no doesn't mean always. It just means right now.
yeah.
It's not like a slam door, lock the door situation. It's like it just means right now. It's a no. Try again in 6 months. Try again in a year. Try again in 3 years. But keep getting better and build yourself up to that next attempt's easier and more closer to victory. I fail all the time, but really fail the same thing twice. But I'm incrementally ratcheting this up through that process I talked about earlier. Aim small, miss small, and ratchet, where I can hit those goals. Now it's like I'm not afraid of not being able to accomplish stuff. It's like I don't have enough time. I can make it work. The runway's just not long enough. I can make it work over the runway's long enough for me. But I'm driven to go forwards, and I try. That's the thing when you get across here is you got to try. You got to fail. You got to try, and be open to that. It's not easy to fail when you're a bit older. And you should be better at this, and you shouldn't be failing in front of people. It's like, who cares? What are they doing in their life? You're not failing, you're not trying. And I'm caning down the hill, and it's getting all wobbly on me right now, but it's like, you know what? Just hold fast for the Monopoly thing. I know the strategy's right. Ride this baby out. It's going to work. And I mop the floor with my Monopoly. Mop the floor. Marvin Gardens, great property. I'll sell you property cheap.
My kids won't play Monopoly with me anymore, but my strategy is always just let the kids try to team up with me, and inevitably they're gonna turn on each other for whatever reason. Like they always turn on each other. And so I really rely on them just turning on each other and then me playing just consistently to win. And it works. I
I
mean,
used
it's
to play
worked out.
Risk.
Same. They
I
also
used
won't
to play
play
Risk
Risk
a
with
lot
me.
when I was growing up in high school. We used to play Risk a lot when I was growing up in high school, and like we'd play it, and it would get like there'd be strategies and treaties for turns, and someone would break the treaty, and
Yes.
be like a fist fight break out, and
Yep.
My friend Jeff used to always say, like, if you attack me first, I'm never stopping for the rest of the game, and I'm going after you the whole time.
Yeah.
It's so intimidating because no one would attack him, regardless of who it was, because they didn't want him to keep the whole game. It's a pretty funny strategy, just like intimidation works.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's especially with Risk. They'll make I won't attack you if you don't attack me, and then we can just focus on mom. And then it turns into, oh, but I need to attack you to get to here. So just this one time, I'm going to attack you. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to attack you over here if you attack me over there. And I'm just like, I'm just going to watch y'all do this and tear each other to pieces. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a fun game. Well, I mean, it's never that fun, but it got pretty heated back in the day. It was like fist
Yes.
fights
Yep.
over
Yep.
this game, and be like, the games wouldn't finish. Be like, hey, you come back the next day. It's like, hey, you didn't have 20 guys in this country. Like, this has been rigged.
Uh-huh.
Fix is in.
Yep. We are coming up on the last couple of questions. So if anybody has any questions for Dan, feel free to drop them into the chat. We'll make sure to address them while we're here together. But Dan, what is your favorite life hack?
Momentum.
Hmm.
There's two types of momentum I'll share with you here. First one is building blocks, like stacking wins. Get home from work, throw a load of laundry in, get dinner on the boil, keep things in perpetual motion. The second one, swallow the hairy frog. What's this, Dan? This sounds a bit odd. Let me explain. I used to swim Monday mornings before work. Go to the pool in the morning, wake up at 5 o'clock, swim some lengths, and then go in the office. Came back down the lift one day with my HR manager with my bags. She goes, Dan, what's all this for? Like, well, I swam this morning. For work, she goes, oh, you swallowed the hairy frog. And I go, excuse me? Hey, you swallowed the hairy frog. And I go, that's not a thing. Hair the dog and swallow the frog are two expressions. Hair the dog's like drinking after a bender. Swallow the frog's like if you had to swallow a frog, you do it first thing in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Should combine them into this mutant expression, but it's forever been known as swallow the hairy frog for me. This is a difficult task, difficult thing to do. You do it first thing in the morning, first thing. Get it out of the way with. Swallow the hairy frog. But build on momentum and get that life going and feel that vibe momentum, right? Once it's going, you can just stack stuff up. It's like, I've done 2, I've done 4, I've done 6. It's how you accomplish big goals, right? Momentum is big for this. And that's my favorite hack that I share with my groups and my talks and my keynotes.
Yeah. Well, it is time for the magic moment of the stream. I'm going to grab my magic wand here. If you could wave a magic wand and eliminate one common opinion or misconception surrounding mental health, what would it be?
But it's not that simple.
Hmm.
Everyone thinks it's so complicated, it's so convoluted, it's so difficult to do these things. It's simple. You just understand that it's about work put in, work put out, get your mindset right, and just get to work. It's simple, not easy.
Yeah. Yeah, simple, not easy, I think is a really great way to look at it also. Well, we are at the end of the question. So if you have anything that we didn't get to cover or any resources you want to share, anything like that, I'm just going to give you the mic. I am going to share your socials one more time. So if folks want to connect with you, they have an easy way to do that. But while I do that, Dan, this is your show.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for listening to the show. I really appreciate your time and attention today. I'm a keynote speaker based in Vancouver, Canada. Speak on change management, resilience, and motivation. I do a lot of online talks as well. I used to work at Hootsuite, so I've done over 1,000 sessions online. I just won last week for a company in Germany. I'm doing one next week for Service Canada online. So if you're interested in that, I'd love for you to check out my website and drop me a link in the comments, and we'll go from there. But thank you for your time today. I appreciate it, Mama Fox.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much again for being here with me. I appreciate it. And thank all of you for being here with us as well. Appreciate you sticking around for that. I'm going to switch my screen over, give you guys a puzzle to work on, and disconnect with Dan. So stick around for that. But Dan, again, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us today.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, guys, give me just a second. I will be right back.